Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. This is biology session. You are watching Diversity in Animal Kingdom Part 1. So in 8th class you have come across a chapter Biodiversity and Conservation. So let us briefly recall and enter into the chapter. Are you ready, children? Let us discuss. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity is defined as the total variety of flora and fauna. What is flora? Plants. Fauna? Animals. The total variety of flora and fauna, or the variability among living organisms that is found on the earth, is called biodiversity. I repeat, biodiversity is defined as the total variety of flora and fauna, or the variety or variability among living organisms that is found on the earth. Okay, the term biodiversity was coined by W.G. Rosen. Okay, who coined the word biodiversity? W.G. Rosen. Biodiversity is an indication of species richness of a place. Okay, it indicates a species richness of a place. Besides enriching our knowledge about forms of life on earth, the study of biodiversity also confers several advantages. What are those advantages? The biodiversity makes it possible for us to understand and realize the intricate relationship among various organisms and their interaction with the environment. The biodiversity is especially important in recovering or maintaining ecologically sensitive areas that face some kind of threat of loss of flora and fauna. The rate at which the species are disappearing may have a disastrous impact on human life. So this we can understand by studying biodiversity. Biodiversity makes us aware of economically important species. Several species in the Himalayas are yet not discovered. There are a number of them that are important resources for medicine and food, or can be used in industry. The richness of habitat and species at a place also serve the purpose of recreation. Biodiversity provides income through tourism and has been a source of inspiration to many people. Okay? The study of biodiversity also urges us to aim for sustainable development. Okay? The study of biodiversity, it poses a major problem. It is not easy to study each and every species on the earth, isn't it? It is a mammoth task and unlikely to be completed in a lifespan. In order to facilitate an easy study of the variety and variability of life on earth, we can classify or categorize the organisms into different groups based on some of their observable and distinct characters. Okay? The science of arranging organisms into groups and subgroups based on their similarities and dissimilarities is known as classification. Okay? What is the importance of classification? Classification of organisms makes their study easier and systematic, and projects all the life forms that exist. It makes it possible to study a greater variety of life forms in a short span of time. It facilitates the identification of organisms according to the characteristic feature of the organized groups. It provides information regarding the plants and the animals in a particular geographical region, isn't it? The classification helps to study evolutionary relationships among various organisms in a much simpler manner. Okay? The criteria used for classification, different types are there: type of nucleus, number of cells consisting the body, mode of nutrition, level of complexity. Okay, so like that, systems of classifications are there. One kingdom classification, two kingdom classification, that you have studied in your regular in 8th class. Okay, so let us proceed. The diversity of animal kingdom is nothing but the classification of animal kingdom 2 here. About vertebrates we are going to discuss more. Are you ready, children? Let us proceed. Diversity in animal kingdom 2. The kingdom Animalia. At present we are following the 5 kingdom classification proposed by Whitaker. Okay, what are those 5 kingdoms? Kingdom Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Okay, the kingdom Animalia consisting of all animals. The animal kingdom is the largest kingdom among the 5 kingdoms. It is one of the largest. Okay, because plant kingdom is more. The animals are multicellular, eukaryotic, but they don't have a cell wall or chlorophyll like plants. Hence, the members of animal kingdom have a heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Means all animals are heterotrophs. Kingdom Animalia has been classified into 10 different subphyla based on their body design or differentiation. The classification has been done on the basis of the characteristics of similarities and differences which have been deduced from their morphology. Anatomy. Morphology means external characters, anatomy means internal characters, physiology means functional aspects, cytology means cell, the biochemistry, how the different functions takes place in the cell, etc. The similar characteristic features possessed by the animals are placed in a similar group or same group. So the animals are grouped together on a way of evolutionary process. Okay, classification and evolution. The earliest forms of life that arose on the earth must have been simple, but the environmental changes like natural disasters and the climate change have led to changes in organisms to adapt and continue life. It means there is impact of environment also. Okay, the animals are grouped together on the way of evolutionary process that reflect the true relationship against animals. This process of division regarded as natural systems of animal kingdom classification. What is classification? Classification is defined as an orderly or ranking of organisms into groups or sit on the basis of their relationships. What is the necessity of animal kingdom classification then? Number 1, by classifying the organisms, they are divided into large as well as small groups so that one can easily get an idea about the groups and the individual type. So it helps in the systematic study. Number 2, the scientific identification and naming of organism is possible by classification. Okay. Number 3, classification helps to understand the process. It helps to understand the process of organic evolution. Organic evolution. So natural system of classification, artificial system of classification. So many types of systems of classifications have been evolved. Okay. So types of animal kingdom classification. Some of the scientists classified the animal kingdom on the basis of the number of cells. On this basis, the animal kingdom is classified into subkingdoms such as protozoa and metazoa. Based on the number of cells, animal kingdom has been classified into protozoa and metazoa. Protozoa means unicellular, primitive animals. Metazoa means multicellular. Okay. In this type of classification, protozoan are the animals, they are called single-celled organisms, and metazoans are multicellular organisms or multicellular animals. Meta means multi, zoa means animals, multicellular animals. On the basis of absence and presence of notochord, this is the second. First one based on number of cells. Second, on the basis of absence and presence of notochord. Some scientists have made the animal kingdom classification on this basis, means on the basis of notochord, into two groups such as non-chordata and non-chordata. It is also called achordata, and number 2 chordata. Okay, based on number of cells, protozoa and metazoa. Based on the presence and absence of notochord, non-chordata and chordata. Okay, the animals which have no notochord, or if notochord is absent, they are placed in the non-chordata group, and the animals that possess the notochord in the body, they are placed under the group of chordate. The notochord in maturity of chordates is subsequently replaced by vertebral columns, which are known as vertebrates. Okay, the chordates itself, later, now we are calling it as vertebrates. Okay, so based on notochord, presence and absence, animals are classified into two groups, non-chordata and chordata. Based on the number of cells, animals are classified into protozoa and metazoa, unicellular and multicellular. Okay, next, in the case of smaller number of chordates, the notochord is not being replaced by vertebral column. Rather, notochord remains as the notochord, and they are regarded as protochordates. Okay, in smaller chordates, the notochord is not replaced. In higher chordates, notochord is replaced by vertebral column or backbone. They are called vertebrates. But in lower chordates, the notochord is not being replaced by vertebral column, and second thing is notochord remains as a notochord. It is not remained as a notochord, and they are regarded as a protochordates. Proto means primitive chordates. But in non-chordates, notochord and vertebral column both are absent. In non-chordates, notochord and vertebral column both are absent. On the basis of absence and presence of vertebral column, now previously notochord we have considered, now vertebral column. The vertebral column is absent in the invertebrates. Animals are again divided into two groups, invertebrates and vertebrates. If the vertebral column is present, if the backbone is present, they are called vertebrates. If the vertebral column is absent, they are called invertebrates. Okay. For animal kingdom classification, the modern zoologists have elevated some of the previous accepted classes of to phylum status. Okay. Many invertebrate animals have been searched out, and many of them have now been placed in the new phyla. Yet their position in the animal kingdom remains uncertainty, means it is not cleared still, most of the invertebrates. Okay, children. On the basis of absent and presence of vertebral column, we are continuing. The vertebral column is absent in the invertebrates but present in all animals of the vertebrate group. By eliminating the complexity in modern animal kingdom classification, the animal kingdom is divided into few major bigger groups known as phylum. Previously only classes, now classes combine to form the phylums based on similarities. Each phylum is divided into classes. Each class is divided into orders. Each order is divided into families, and each family is divided into genus, and each genus consisting of species. This is called hierarchy of classification, which you have studied in 8th class. Hierarchy. Okay. Each one represents the taxonomy, the branch of biology which deals with the study of classification is called taxonomy. Okay. So phyla, kingdom is the biggest taxon, whereas the basis of classification is the species. Species is the smallest unit of classification. Species is the smallest unit of classification. So classes combine to form the phylum. So orders combine to form the classes. Families combine to form the orders, and several species combine to form the genus. Okay, this is the hierarchy of classification. The biggest one is kingdom, smallest one is species. That's why species is called the unit of classification. John Ray introduced the term species. So another classification: aquatic, aerial or terrestrial. So all free living with no fully parasitic forms. Second one, body small to large. The symmetry is bilaterally symmetrical and metamerically segmented. Invertebrates. Next, a post-anal tail usually projects beyond the anus at some stage and may or may not persist in the adult. Exoskeleton often present, well developed in most vertebrates. Okay, primitive vertebrates. So notochord, dorsal hollow nerve cord, pharyngeal gill slits, post anal tail. These are the important features of vertebrates. Muscles, segments, metamerically segmented primitive vertebrates. The brain, mouth. Okay. Phylum Chordata, general characteristics we are discussing. The fifth characteristic, the body wall triploblastic. The body wall is triploblastic, means with 3 germinal layers. What are they? Ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Outer ectoderm, inner endoderm, middle mesoderm. Chordates are triploblastic. So this term you have to remember. Here in the foundation, vocabulary, definitions, examples, these are all very important. Coelomate animals. Coelomate. The animals having a true coelom. The coelom is called enterocoelic or schizocoelic in origin. Okay. Coelom means cavity, body cavity. For example, there is a gap between body wall and inner alimentary canal. So this gap is filled with a fluid that is called a coelom. If the coelom is present, then the animals are called coelomates. Okay. Chordates are coelomates. Which type of coelom? A true coelom. Okay. By breaking the mesenchyma or mesoderm, if the coelom is formed, then it is called a true coelom. Seventh characteristic feature, a skeletal rod, the notochord, present at some stage in the life cycle. Okay. Dorsal hollow nerve cord, notochord. Okay, the notochord is present at some stage in the life cycle. Next, a cartilaginous or bony, living and jointed endoskeleton present in the majority of members. They are vertebrates. In majority of vertebrates, either cartilaginous or bony skeleton is present. Okay, that is endoskeleton. Next, the pharyngeal gill slits present at some stage may or may not be functional. Pharyngeal gill slits, these are the pharyngeal gill pouches. They are present at some stage, may or may not be functional. Next, digestive system, it is complete. Complete means well developed with digestive glands like salivary glands, liver, etc. Blood vascular system is closed, means circulatory system, it is closed. Closed means consisting of blood vessels, just like arteries, veins. Okay, blood flows inside the blood vessels, then it is called as closed type of circulatory system. Heart ventral with dorsal and ventral blood vessels. Okay. Hepatic portal system is well developed. A portal system is hepatic portal system and renal portal system, two are there. Renal portal system is the circulatory system associated with the kidneys. Circulatory system associated with liver is called as hepatic portal system. It is well developed in all vertebrates. Excretory system comprising proto or meso or metanephric kidneys. These are three types of kidneys. proto, meso, meta and nephric kidneys. Okay, from primitive vertebrates to higher vertebrates. Nerve cord, dorsal and tubular. Nerve cord is dorsal and tubular. Anterior end of this nerve cord usually enlarged to form the brain. Okay, the anterior end of nerve cord is enlarged to form the brain. If you come to the reproductive system, sexes are separate with rare exceptions. Okay, so these are the characteristic features of chordates. Okay, further we are going to discuss the hierarchy of classification. Once again, let us recall: first kingdom, then phylum, then class, then order, then family, then genus, then species. Okay, okay children, thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.